Dirt all over him.
Touch them together to see if we can get a spark.
Touch them together.
No, touch them together.
Oh, fuck. Heyo. Look at this go.
That's a shoulder. So,
What if we jumped this one while that one was trying to work?
that would work.
And we have jumper cables in there. The problem would be getting this around. But if
It's actually a great idea.
if we push this back and then jumped it.
That is a great idea.
Hey. Now we're not only a pretty face sometimes, PJ.
You go red and black. Oh
shit.
fuck.
Oh, fuck. That can't be good.
Looks like I don't know one. Oh, I do.
Oh.
Yeah, so don't do that.
Take it slow with those. Just you fake.
No.
We've just been drinking nothing but beers.
Oh my god. So many beers.
Third time's a charm, recuing intense hardcore rock music. Fourth time's a charm, huh? No intense rock music this time. We're just gonna hope for the best. Today we were becoming men, at least slightly. It's amazing because over the past few years, ever since I really started my business, I've focused on one sole goal of trying to increase my skill set with the goal of trying to increase my income, because the better I got at what I was doing, and right now I help very, very large businesses. I help them grow their online presence and grow their brand so they can get significantly more customers for their business. And that is going better than I could have ever have dreamed of. Right now, we are in Tucson, Arizona with the first guy I started working with. His name is George Gammon. He has a bunch of old vintage, very high in demand trucks that he's been keeping as collectible items. And me and PJ came down here with him to help fix them up and flip them. And you realize how quickly, how unmanly you are. You don't know simple basics of how to fix a car and take out I didn't know how to take out the battery and then go replace it. And if you watch yesterday's video when we were talking to George, and he said starting to flip cars or trucks, something that is a very niche product that has a lot of demand, is the best way to start a business if you're young, because you learn all the basics. You learn how to manage people. You learn that every single thing that can go wrong will go wrong. And then you start to prepare for it to go wrong. I mean, everything that it is like running my business, it's like flipping these trucks. The thing is, with my business, there's so much more scale, way more scale than flipping trucks. I mean, the max you're going to make flipping those trucks is maybe at an absolute max, if you had good systems in place, probably $1 million a year. There's not a whole lot of scalability with that model, unless you open chains, but then you're no longer at the same truck. You're gonna have to expand the business in different avenues. But anyway, these skills are still vitally important, and not even just, I mean, they're just human basic skills, because my thought process for the longest time, and to the most part, I still do agree with this notion that I just need to increase my income so I can pay for any service that I need, and I never have to worry about that. And inevitably or eventually, that is the goal. But you need to understand how to do this stuff, and for a multitude of reasons. One, do you really want to be a guy that is like just a loser and can't work with their hands in any capacity? I mean, in a lot of cases, that is most definitely how I feel. But also, these are just incredibly useful, practical skills to have, because there's going to be times when you just can't pay your way out of things. And it is important to be able to solve these issues on your own. And then also, all of my work right now is virtual or online. I mean, a lot of it's in person, but most of it is working on my computer and actually working with your hands, getting them dirty. It feels good. I was energized. I was having a great day doing this. PJ, what were your thoughts on becoming a man today? You're gonna have to talk loudly.
Oh man. It's a lot of fun.
Well, busting balls, hanging out with your buddies, talking mega shit to each other. And then you definitely probably wouldn't have expected for me, you, and George to be talking crazy amounts of shit while we're fixing trucks together.
Yeah.
That's just what you do when you're with your friends, especially
Yeah.
doing manual labor.
It's 100% super important to do those type of things with people.
Yeah.
I can't imagine
Doing them alone would have sucked.
Like it's kind of fun, even though you have all these problems coming up, like I mean, going back and forth to the gas station and to O'Reilly.
Yeah. So I'll give them an example because people won't know. So we get to where the trucks are being held, and George has a storage, like a massive lot of storage for these things. And so we're fixing them, and all the batteries are dead because they haven't been used for the past few years. So we go to try and fix the batteries, and you need specific tools for them that we don't have because they're in none of the trucks. So we get the tool, we go to O'Reilly's hardware store, which is we get the tools, we come back. Then you find out that there's something else wrong. And so what do you have to do? You have to, when you're fixing everything, let's say you take the batteries out, you fix them, you put in the new battery, and then you get the car running. And then when the car's running, you realize that there's something else wrong, but now you have wheels. And so instead of having to Uber places, you now have a truck that you can do to take to these other locations. And then when you come back for the other trucks, you realize that there's some sort of different issue. You have to go back to O'Reilly's and they don't have all the parts. So then we have to go to, what's that store that we went to?
What for what?
What's that big store after O'Reilly's that we went to?
Home Depot.
Yeah. And so they didn't have all the parts at O'Reilly, so then we have to go to Home Depot. Then from Home Depot, you go right back to fix that exact same issue. Then one of the tires are flat and they don't have the jack to pump up to fix the tire. And all these things are just, you're learning a ton of skills. Everything that can go wrong is going wrong. There's massive issues and you're still just having fun with your buddies. And then you can make like 15, 20 grand in a month or whatever. I mean, that is not a bad trade-off. TJ.
Definitely got to be resilient.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, it's a lot of stress and it's a lot of pressure and it's a lot of fun. But again, there's no scalability to this. And so when I'm thinking, because I think on such a long-term time horizon, I would rather make no money for the next 3 years to where 10 years from now I can have a $250 million exit. And that's incredibly realistic when you think about things on a very, very long time horizon.
I would say there's no scalability. It's not as scalable.
Well, you're not going to be making $10 million a year.
No.
And so for me, that's no scalability.
No.
That for like, if you can't make 10 to $100 million a year, it's not a scalable business, in my opinion.
Well, I'm thinking scalable as in like you can start to get employees and you can start.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking more so size.
Okay.
I mean, you can obviously systematize the process to where everything gets dialed in, but I mean, and you'll be having a very high paying job and maybe even make it quasi passive, but you're not going to be generating over 10 to $50 million a year. And that is the kind of business that I would want to run, which you are never going to do doing this. And if you do that, you are going to be the only person in the marketplace. With what I'm doing, if you're doing $50 million a year, you're not even going to put a dent in the bucket. And so how big is the marketplace that you're actually trying to really do some work in? And then it comes down to how many people can actually do what it is that you are doing. And so the pros of doing this is I'm learning more tangible skills, and I actually feel like I'm getting better with non-online things, which is, I think, very, very important. The bad thing is I'm not doing the thing that matters most, which is growing my business, because I'm just messing around all day. And you can say, Josh, you're not messing around. I mean, you're still doing things, but I need to be focused on what is driving incredible amounts of revenue. And that is getting better at what I need to do and help scale, grow a team, do all these things, which is what I want to be doing. But I mean, my number one priority is helping out George. I mean, absolutely. He completely changed my life. If you don't know the story, when I was in high school, instead of going to school my senior year, all I did was study macroeconomics. And I did that because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. But I listened to it. I was reading a bunch of books and I stumbled upon macroeconomics. And I thought, I don't understand what they're saying at all. But if I can figure this out, I know that I will have a much better idea of what I want to do with my life. And funny enough, that is exactly what happened. So I was reaching out to everybody in all circumstances, but inevitably I wanted to work for this guy, George Gammon. And so he was having a free meetup in Scottsdale, Arizona. This time I was living back home in Boston. I had never been on a plane before, never traveled. And about 2 weeks before I was going, I got his logo tattooed on my leg because I was 18 years old. And I took my first ever flight to go meet him and basically harassed him for a long period of time after that until I started working for him. And all of the work that I have for my current business is because of George, because he has such a large network and I got integrated into that because I'm always with him. And so I mean, George doesn't watch these videos, fortunately, but my biggest goal over the next 5 years, or one of them at least, is to give George a watch collection for everything that he has ever paid me. And today I was doing some renaissance. What word am I thinking of, PJ?
Reminisce.
Like when, let's say you send a spy to go surveil something, they're doing recon. Recon. Today I was doing recon, and George was showing us pictures of one of these swagged out diamond watches that he has, and it was like 50 grand, and he bought it back in the day, but he says he doesn't wear it because it's a little too flashy. And so I was asking him, well, if you could buy any watch in the world, what would it be? And it was this Richard Mille that was like $350,000. So I put that one on the watch list. And so maybe 3 years from now, I'll be able to get that for George. But in the meantime, just gonna help him flip these trucks, because since me and PJ will be in Scottsdale, he's teaching us how to do it. So during the weekends, me and PJ can fire up to Tucson, where the trucks are, where we are right now, which is a shithole, especially coming from St. Bart's. But anyway, so we can do it for him during the weekends. But it's going to be a good skill, as well as helping out George, which is everything that we need to do